Right, I'm going to show you how to use the AssignTexture files script, Python script that replaces all the Maya default shaders with and links it with actual textures on disk. So you don't have to. Just using a simple naming convention. This script is very useful when you have a an asset with a lot of materials, and you want to apply a change their default materials to from Maya link to a file, right? So when you go here and you click there and you change it to file, if you have sometimes you have 10 or 20 or even more materials here, doing that manually after you've exported this to Substance and brought the textures in to see what it looks like is a pain. So the script does it automatically for you. Slight naming convention, it has to end in _mat for material. I'm going to use this guy as my base. I'm actually going to subdivide him. So normally you would have a low res mesh and a high res mesh. You would probably start with a high res mesh and then subdivide or retopologize, or you would use something like the Z remesher, for ZBrush. You could also just use because this mesh doesn't have to deform, so the geometry doesn't have to be all that pretty, but it still has to be a valid mesh, not more than 4 sides. Concave is fine, but non-manifold, and there's a couple of rules that will need to apply. It mustn't have more than 4 sides, no holes, and must not contain non-manifold. Otherwise, the triangulation isn't going to work and it's going to crash. Unreal Engine will still be perfectly happy with it, but we're going to be triangulating this. So let's start by, I'm going to smooth this. Not smooth, I'm going to use this as my high. So this is test high. What I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this first of all. I just did a demo now which didn't work, so I'm going to do this the other way. Let's add it to here. Yeah, that's not what I wanted to do, and now I did something else. Okay, just add that guy. Right, start bringing this down. So what are we on? 84,000. So let's start reducing this. We're on 10. I want to go down to ridiculously low. This is 614. I'm very happy with this reduction. And it's not on smooth view. That's with smooth view on. Comparing the two, you can see this is gonna, I think this is gonna work a bit better. So after we apply the normal map, it should look like this, but we'll see, it might not. Okay, next step, look at the UVs quickly. Has no UVs, so I want to just quickly, I'm just going to do an automatic. Let's just see what it looks like by applying my test material here. Let's give that a save and a collapse. All right, not too unhappy with it. I'm going to go to select my components, and let's go for UV shell. Let's just quickly assign materials here. I'm going to make this test matte, test1 matte, hide. This can be 2. Yeah, okay. Hide it. Let's make this. Let's see what we get. We add these guys here. 3. Okay. I have to include this guy. It's gonna look a little weird because of the way it it broke the just because of the way it did the automatic. That's okay. Oh, just come on. Okay, we'll say we're pretend we're happy with that. I'd like this one here too. This one here too. This one as well. This one here as well. Obviously normally do these manually so they look a bit better. And now I need to hide those components. So what I'll do is just jump on over here, select Mat 3. Hope this is going to work. And just hit hide. Alright. Go back to my components UV shell selection. So let's make this one here 4. And these here will make 5. Right, and just show all again. Okay. Got some materials on there. Right. So these next step is I want to lay these out a little bit differently. So I want to lay them out per material. So I'm going to use a combination of my UV editor and the hypershade. And just quickly start here. Let's select all objects, material 1, lay them out. So you'll see now they take up a whole UDOM on their own. You want to typically have each material on their own UDOM inside the 0,1 space. So it takes up the most space and you get the most efficient render from your engine or whatever, because that's how Unreal Engine is going to be rendering it per material when it batches it up. Okay, at least it should. Let's just go out of that component and save this. I'm going to start by exporting. So I'm going to export that guy first, the low one. Test low, no triangulation for now. Let's select test high. You can see 84,000 and he doesn't have any UVs, doesn't need UVs. And let's hop on over to Substance Painter. Just going to do a quick and dirty here. Select the low. 124 DirectX, and I'm going to make a huge texture here. That's what it looks like. Let's bake it out and see what happens. There's my materials, or UVs rather. So I'm going to bring in test high there. And let's bake all texture sets, see what happens. I think it's going to work a bit better. So the previous mesh, my problem was the low-res mesh was too angular and it was too big. It stuck too far out of the high-res mesh. So that created quite a lot of problems. It just looked like something was overlaid. Where you can see here, it looks a lot better. It's not perfect, but it does look a lot better. So better meaning it looks at least a little bit more like from, let's go normal view here. From this, you can see a lot more, less faceted, view there. Obviously the bottom piece is still not incredibly happy, but these here look alright. They're still a little bit faceted, and they don't look so sad. These look really sad. It still doesn't look, exactly like the high res, but that's just because I'm just messing around here. I mean, it doesn't look exactly like this, but it's pretty close. So this is obviously just a test, and to show you how these scripts, how the script works. So I have 5 materials here. I'm not going to mess around too much. I'm just going to drag and drop some smart materials on here because I want to get these exported as quickly as possible to move on to the actual part, which is the script. So you can spend as much or as little time as you want texturing stuff up. And it's always good to have some gold in there. Okay, I'm going to call this good. Would have liked some rocky material in here too. That's okay. I'm just going to save this. And I'm going to export the textures as well. I should have copied that folder quickly. All right. I didn't change anything. I'm not changing any names or anything like that. It's very important that the material IDs or _MAT or the material names. I know there's a difference between IDs and whatever, but the material names that you assign in Maya are going to be here, and that's going to be the names of the files that get exported. So this is what we want. If you change these values here, then obviously stuff is not going to work. The scripts aren't going to work. And there are other scripts that we use in Unreal Engine that will automatically assign these normal maps and things to the LOD 0 and 1 levels of your mesh, which I'm going to demo in another video. So let's export these to the correct folder. And let's see what happens. So I'm exporting everything here. All of the channels, although in Unreal Engine we're only going to be using 2 or 3. All right, we're done. So let's just grab the base colors. And we're almost done. So I'm just going to put these in the images folder here. I'm going to create a new folder here and just call it test. Pop them in there. I'm not going to apply the normal maps here. That's not what this video is about, or the script. That's for the next video in Unreal Engine. So we've done that. Now it's just a simple case of running the script. So you can just simply copy the script, put it on your shelf. It is a Python script. There's only one thing you have to change, and that is you need to change this location here of where the folders are relative to your current project. And what it's going to do is it's going to run through all the materials ending with _MAT, and it's going to try and find its matching texture 2D and assign it as files. So your material names as well need to be unique. That's why you can't have test1 mat and then test1 _ test2 mat, you know, things like that, or like I _mat, I guess, and I _ mat2, you know, that won't work. But you can have I _ left and I _ right. But typically you'd be sharing those anyway and just have one I material. I'm just giving an example. The names need to be unique that you're assigning. Typically they would be. But if you have something like test1 _ mat and test11 _ mat, that's not unique, because test1 is going to match with test11. That's just, you know, but hopefully it will match with the, I think it matches with the whole thing, including the _mat, so you should still be fine. Right, and then you just run the script. Let's move it aside here and just see what happens. I'm going to jump on over to material view. I didn't change anything because it's already in that folder. And it's not working. Okay, that's nice. None. What does that mean? Oh, it didn't find the files. I wonder if my project window is correct. Yeah, I think it is correct. But I don't think it's finding any files. Why? It's because I messed up my project window somehow. Yeah, this isn't project. No, that's correct. Damn it. Okay, I don't know what I did there. Okay. No, it's not happy. Okay. So now I need to figure out why. I don't think it's in the right folder. Yeah, it's not in the right default folder. Let me try something quickly here. I'm just going to try and open up the Maya is sometimes a little bit weird. Even though I've hit set project, it didn't actually pick up that I'm running it from a different folder. So I think it's defaulting to program file something. I just have a sneaky suspicion it's doing that. So there's a good little debug session for you. Oh, it takes a little while to open. Don't need to change anything because that's the last thing that was still on my... If I just hit open here, it seems to have picked up now that I'm the right thing. I'm not going to change anything and just run the script. And there it did work. So something to be aware of. Just setting project and not restarting Maya isn't enough for it to know the actual project folder changed within the script environment. Maybe there's some function you need to call, I'm not sure. Right, so that's it for this demo. That's just showing you how to use this the script. And all I did was it just replaced these materials here, and now they're just pointing to that file. Test 5. I never used test 5, so what I did. Oh, I didn't drop anything for test 5, or I didn't copy test 5. It's another good little test. All it is, it's got a no, it is there. Oh, that that is the file. Excuse me. Yeah, so it worked. Now, if you were to change this and include another material here afterwards, and do the thing again, take it to Substance and bring it back, you could run it again, and it should be non-destructive. So it's gonna skip all of the ones that already have a texture assigned, as long as you're not using the color black anywhere as one of your material colors, because that's what the color defaults to if it has a incoming file node. So then you can just rerun the script. So what we could do, let's just create another material here. Just going to do a Lambert and call this test 6 mat. And I'm going to leave it default color. I'm going to go to my components here, UV shell. I'm going to select, see if we can select something sensible. Let's do these here. See what I can get. Okay. So obviously this automatic thing is terrible. But anyway, I'm going to just use this assign test 6. Now, obviously I want to run the script again, right? So I'll need to just quickly export this selection to test low. Jump on over to Substance Painter. You could just open up the project here. Now our Substance Painter isn't going to have a clue that I have a new material. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to always hit the wrong button. I'm just going to change the mesh to test low again. Click OK. Now we have a test 6. So I'm just going to drop, let's drop PVC, something visible, wood on there, right? I am going to need to bake these texture maps again, I believe. So let's just bake them again. I should have UV mapped test 6 on its own, meaning I should have selected it and put it in its own little, but I mean it is taking up a lot of space there, so that's okay. But the space distribution could have been better for this demo. That's just typically stuff you'll do every time anyway. Right, it's finished. There we go. You can see it popped. And I'm gonna hit save and export to textures. Should remember my last export location, so I don't have to change anything. I don't care about mornings. And then I want to make sure I copy all of the base colors again. So it says selecting the roughness. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items selected here at the bottom. See if we can find a quick window here that I can reuse. Okay. So there are material 6s in there. These other ones are obviously not going to change. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to run the script again. I'll give this a save. I'm just going to run the script and not do anything. Let's see. And there we go. So it didn't do anything with the other ones, but it found you added a new material and it applied it. Obviously these do not have the normal maps or anything like that on it. Okay, so that's how you use this this script and why you would use it. It's to replace or set the file node on the my materials. If you look at material 6 now, it's pointing to that texture 2D. So in the hypergraph, whatever, you'd see an incoming node to the file somewhere. Might even be here. Not 100% sure. I think it's this guy here. UV test template PG. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong material. Thanks. Oh, well, they're all here. Anyway, so that's what it does, but it does it in Python. So I don't like fiddling in that thing manually. It's too confusing. Alrighty. Thanks.